Hello, and welcome to episode number 8 of My Trucking Life, Truth, Trucking, and Tribulations from the Trucker's Table. Well, in our last episode, episode number 7, we were driving for MSJ Trucking. We had recently got our license back, and we were back on the road again with a good, reputable company, MSJ Trucking out of Opp, Alabama. You won't see their trucks on the road no more. They were bought out by Buddy Moore Trucking of Birmingham, Alabama. There's a long backstory to that I can't get into, but if you ever want to find out about it, I can tell you more about it. Basically, Buddy Moore and Harold Sorrells, the owner of MSJ, they were partners with a different trucking company long time ago. So they're old friends, and so Buddy Moore bought him out. Buddy Moore has a son that's running the company now, and he could take MSJ and do something with it rather than have it just kind of die out, And so they're still going strong, and they're still running the dry van division out of Opp, Alabama. So that's great. That's incredible. I'm glad to see that, because they're a really great company, great people to work for. And I would never, ever say anything bad about Mr. Sorrells or any of the people up there I work with. It was one of the best times of my life, some of the people I work with up there. Made a lot of good friends. A lot of people from there I'm still friends with today. I talk to on a regular basis. So anyway, let's move on. We're driving with MSJ Trucking, and my uncle, who you've met in, I believe it was episode 5, he had rode me for a while I was at Charles Patterson Trucking. He made some money, and then he went out to Dallas, Texas, and he began running a tomato wholesale business out there on the Dallas Farmers Market. He was selling tomatoes and other produce, cantaloupe, different things like that, produce items and stuff. But his main thing was tomatoes. That's what it made his most money with. He went out there on a bus, with just a few dollars in his pocket, and he was able to, in a matter of, I don't know how long it took him, but I know in no time at all it seemed like he had really grew his business. He bought an 18-wheeler, an FLD Freightliner, and with the full condo sleeper and everything. He bought a reefer unit trailer and all, and he was doing really good, And it's a funny story, honest to God truth. His uncle, my great uncle, was driving for him, driving from Dallas to Immokalee, Florida, picking up tomatoes, driving to back out to Dallas, going up to places like Chattanooga and getting tomatoes and going back. And he was doing okay. He wasn't setting the road on fire or nothing like that. So my uncle needed some help. He needed somebody that could really run, get there, get back, and get the job done. So he reached out to me and asked me, Rob, Sput, what do you think about coming out here and working for me? He said, I'll pay you this much, which was way more than I was making with MSJ, and guarantee money whether you run or not, every week. I like that. Your own boss, more or less. All you got to do is haul the tomatoes, And I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. I'll go out there and I'll go to work for my uncle, I worked for him when I was 16. Then we drove team together at Charles Patterson Trucking. And now here we are together again, me working for him. And it was great. We had a lot of fun. I want to say this was around 2003. And I went to work for him out there. And we were doing good. I was running back and forth, Immokalee, Chattanooga, different places like that, picking up tomatoes depending on what time of year it was. And everything was going good. Health-wise, I was starting to decline a little bit on my health. And so I did that with him for, man, I want to say it was less than a year. And we were waiting. I was waiting to go back to take a load of tomatoes take a load of pallets back down to Immokalee and pick up a load of tomatoes. And he was letting me stay at a hotel there in Dallas, out by the I forget the exit, Lancaster Road, I think it is. I'm not sure. It's out there, one exit down from the TA, there where the Pilot truck stop is there. And anyway, I was staying out there at a hotel, and I had gotten in the truck, and I want to say going to the truck stop, and I was creeping along that road right there. There's a lot of Warner trucks. There's a lot of Texas, I think it's called Texas Express. They have the big flags, Texas flags on the side. They got bought out by Epps. Anyway, one of those trucks was bobtailing, and he come flying past me as I was making my turn to go into the place. He tried passing me while I was making my turn, and he T-boned me and wrecked the truck. Wrecked my uncle's truck. Well, it was the only truck my uncle had at the time. So we didn't know how long it was going to take to get fixed and everything. So we were trying to figure out what to do. So I decided to see if MSJ would take me back. I mean, I made some good money with my uncle, and I had fun doing it and all. And it was interesting. It was fun. I mean, if that hadn't happened, who knows what else would have happened? You know, I don't know. But he eventually grew the company and bought a couple more trucks. But by then, I was back with MSJ and doing good with them. And I also, well, I say doing good. My life, after I went back with MSJ, my life just continued to decline. My grandmother passed away, and my mother's mother. And I was on my way out to Hammond, Louisiana to make a delivery. I had picked up a load of crackers in Valdosta, Georgia, and I was taking them over there. It was a really light load. And it was probably about 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, and it had just started sprinkling a little bit of rain and stuff. And I was getting off there at the exit for I-55 North. And I was going just a smidge too fast for the road conditions. Not super fast. I wasn't speeding, but I should have been going slower than the speed limit. But I didn't realize how slick the road was. And the trailer broke traction. Like I said, it was a light load of crackers. It broke traction, swung around, and I'm going backwards around that. It's different now than it was then. Then it was a lot sharper curve, and I rolled down the embankment, and it busted the truck in half. And to give you an idea of what it looks like, I'll put a picture in right here where you can see it. Take a look at this. So you can see from that picture, I was lucky to walk away unharmed, no injuries or anything. And so I had to stay at a motel for one night until they could get all that cleaned up, get the truck pulled out and everything. And then they towed the truck back to Opp, Alabama. And I rode back with the tow truck driver. And I was banged up as far as bruises and aching muscles from the, banging around. And I made it back in time for my grandmother's funeral. And I didn't tell my mother what had happened until a month or two after the fact. I just didn't want to lay all that on her with her mother being deceased and all right then too, So I told her what happened, and she understood then more about what was going on and why I didn't come back no sooner than I did, and also why, when she had asked me to be a pallbearer, that I couldn't do it. I was just hurting, aching, pain. I was lucky to be able to even walk there. I was just so stoved up from the accident. But so I came back with MSJ Trucking, and had that accident, and they, you know, I didn't get a ticket for it or anything like that, and why I don't know, but I didn't, because they could tell I wasn't speeding. You know, it's just slick road, and the truck broke traction, and just that was what happened. You know. So after a week or two off, I come back to work. They put me in another truck, and we're running, and a little time goes by. I make a few runs here and there, and because this was back, I want to say around February, and so by the time, I think it was May or June rolls around, and I was hauling a load of paint, Benjamin Moore paint out of Texas, up around Dallas. And I had made it out almost to over near Terrell, Texas, over near where that TA is. Just before you get to that TA, where all that merges together and stuff, coming off of 635. Anyway, a truck hauling a one of them long I-beams, metal beams, cut over in front of me. Well, when he cut over in front of me, you know, I backed out of it a little bit, you know. And by the time I started backing out of it to put some distance between us, a car cut over in front of him, popped on brakes to get off at an exit. And when they did, he had to slam on brakes. And when he slammed on brakes and I slammed on brakes, I couldn't stop fast enough because I had not backed off far enough yet. So I slid boom, right up and hit those I-beams and busted in the radiator on the truck. Paint went everywhere inside that truck. It was a mess. And so they had to, but the truck wasn't totaled or anything like that. They just replaced the grill, radiator, and that was about it, you know. And had to get towed, of course. I had to stay there with the truck till it got fixed, and then brought it back. And then shortly after that, probably within a couple of weeks after all that happened, they pulled me in the office there at MSJ and said, hey, look, you know, you've had 2 wrecks in less than 6 months, and our insurance won't cover you anymore. And so we're going to have to let you go. But we want to give you the opportunity to resign rather than us firing you. And if you'll do that, we have another job lined up for you with another company that their insurance will allow you to drive for them. You know, their insurance is more lax than ours is. So come back for episode number 9, and I'll tell you who I went to work for driving after I left MSJ the second time. And, you know, and then my life really took another twist after that. So we'll talk about that too. But anyway, that's why I love MSJ. They gave me the opportunity to resign. They even found me another job because they didn't want me to be, you know, on the street, no job. That was a great company to work for. Incredible company, great company. So come on back for episode number 9, and we'll tell you who I went to work for after MSJ the second time. All right, thank y'all for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. I really appreciate it. We're up to over 420 subscribers. That's incredible. So we got some big things ahead. We'll be making some announcements about what we're going to do when we hit 500 subscribers. So I want y'all to be sure you watch our videos and listen out for that information, okay? All right, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed the video, wherever you are, whatever time of day it is. All right, thanks y'all. Be safe, and we'll talk to you again soon.